So, a lot of people are panicking right now because their, stocks are down. And this video is just to show you guys why 5-year data is so important, because it will show you if a stock has the potential to recover. I'm going to show you like 5 videos to compare and contrast. This is a stock I loved in 2024. It didn't come out till 2024. It did exceptional in 2024. A lot of us overpaid for it. What happens when a stock loses a lot of money? Sometimes it's just a market correction, because this one came out at $20.38. So every time it went back down to $20, it was technically just a market correction, because people, even though they were buying it for $30 and $40, this stock probably should have never been valued. ETF. Sorry, I had to correct myself. It's an ETF. You can buy it in the stock market. I'm not going to judge you if you just call it a stock, but technically it's an ETF. But you guys can see, great dividends. I sold it. When I saw it tanking, I'll admit, I sold 99% of what I owned in MSTY. And I'm happy I did, because when it hit $12.82, I am so thankful I sold it for about $16 or $17. I don't remember exactly when. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is sell a stock. If it means you don't lose as much money, do it. We're going to go back 5 years. I'm going to use Meta now in an example. So if we were to just look at the 5-year data, if we saw the price 5 years ago versus now at $748, we would think it was exceptional. But I'm going to go through the 5-year history to show you why that's not true. Gotta give it a minute to load. So 5 years ago, Meta, if I remember correctly, that's back when they were still called Facebook. They were at $249.40. But I'm going to try and go fast. I'm going to show you guys one of these little market crashes. I'm going to show you what happens when they get bad publicity. See how it's made its way up to over $300, and then we got some bad publicity, and then we dropped below 200, and we kept dropping, and a lot of people went to margin calls, and they had to sell. See how low it went down to $90. Now, a lot of people lost faith in the stock, but others decided to keep investing, and it continued to make its way up. That's what I call a good recovery, but then it has bad days, and we see it drop 20, 30, 40, sometimes $100 a share. Then we get into 2024, we see it's already made its way back into the 400s, 500s. Then it has a bad publicity day, drops back down. You were paying over $500 and you see it drop down to $428, you'd be pretty mad. Now, if you're shorting the market, you consider it job well done. It all depends on the perspective and where you're coming from. Because there you can see it made its way back up to $537. Then $570. Then it dropped $10, $20. And then it go back. And then it jolt up. See, we're already at over $600. We go over $700. Goes down into $600. Drop down to $595. There are absolute $485 right there. We can see some people absolutely lost over $200 a share in just in a couple weeks. But then we see the people that didn't sell, they just decided to keep waiting it out. It went back up to, even though it's down a day, if you bought it last week, September 12th, or is that 2 weeks ago? $748, you would consider it about the same as when you bought it. It's just chilling to you. But if you paid $781, you'd be very mad. You'd be down $40 right now. Let me show you what can happen if you wait too long and you try and wait it out and you lose all your money. Because I don't know, those of you who have heard of Moderna, a lot of you guys have heard the good publicity and then the bad publicity. MRMY is an ETF with a primarily basis on Moderna. You can see there, Moderna option income. Now let's go back to when it came out, because it's not even 2 years old, if I remember correctly. Yeah, not even 2-year birthday, came out $20, doing fine, paying well, going up a little bit, down a little bit, seems stable. A lot of people invested in this ETF thinking it's great. A lot of people made decent money the first year, for the most part. But let's see what happens when bad publicity struck Moderna. Because it affected MRMY here. And I'll show you Moderna by comparison. But look at that. If you panic sold at $10, you'd be so thankful you panic sold, because now your money is only worth $1.73 a share at the top of that screen. And I'm going to show you Moderna in comparison. Now here we can see Moderna is currently at $24.61, but I'm about to go back 5 years to show you what was it like 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, it was about $65.89. So if you bought a lot of the stock, you could have made money or lost it based on when you sold it. If you paid under $100 for it, when you saw it go up to over $200, as we're seeing right here, you'd be really happy. By the time it made its way to $400, a lot of people thought it was a great buy until they lost money. See how they paid over $400, $448, only to see it drop to $299? That was back in 2021. And then we see bad publicity. Look at that. Now, around 2023 of October is when we saw MRNY. So we want to go about that date. Here we go. Moderna was doing pretty good. So it would make sense why MRNY was doing good as well, and why it was paying stable dividends. But let's get closer to 2025, because that proved a lot of downfalls. I said that wrong. The downfall of a lot of ETFs released by YieldMax. See how it's just going down? We're down to $24.61. That's what happens. And this isn't to scare anybody, it's just to show you. Now let's look at a very stable ETF. This ETF is only about 2 years old. I've showed it to you guys before. I'm keeping everything in one video today, just to help you guys try and prevent mistakes, and why you want to see, does a stock recover, to prepare yourself if it gets bad publicity. Meta could get bad publicity and lose half its value in a day if the publicity is bad enough. Now, there's a lot of regulations and stuff in place. This is SPYI. We're going to go back to Inception. It's thundering outside, so if you hear that, I'm sorry. So if we go back to August 30th, 2022, we can see this stock, it's 3 years old now. Okay. It came out for $49.90. Now, something you're going to notice about this stock as I'm scrolling, you will see not only did this stock never go below $40, we also never saw a dividend payment below 40 cents, which means extremely stable. We saw all the market crashes. You guys saw the fluctuation of money. Now, you might have seen the stock drop somewhat, but you never saw it drop more than $10. That's for sure. All the other stocks I showed you lost more than $10 a share at some point, most of which dropped permanently, or it went up permanently. I should say semi-permanently, because any of them could drop at any point in time. But you guys can see, I wouldn't feel bad. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, but if I bought this stock, I wouldn't feel too bad, because I can see over the past 3 years, they managed themselves very well. NEO did a very good job on SPYI. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm not seeing a significant drop. Now, we might see a market correction. You might see the stock drop back down to in the 40s, but nothing like with some of the other stocks I showed you guys. When Facebook dropped hundreds of dollars, that was awakening for some people. When Moderna, if you paid $400 for Moderna and then you saw your $400 is only worth $20 right now, you'd be devastated. But I will show you something as of today while the market's down. You guys see all that red? If you see one share, it means it was an experiment I did. But you see all that red? Now, do you see all that green? Same day. Same day. September 25th. You know what the difference is? Most of those were ETFs. Most of these are gold, silver, uranium. These are material-based stocks and ETFs. The ones I just showed you that were red, those are all ETFs and stocks. When the dollar is questioned, when people are worried about the dollar losing value, stocks dropping, a lot of people will buy gold. So you will see gold-based ETFs, gold-related, silver-related stocks go up, and this is just proof of that. So always diversify your portfolio, buy as much different things as you can, because while one stock is down, I can guarantee you something in another sector will be up. Please do your own due diligence. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you guys data, my experience. Have a great day and happy investing.